16 functions.
Sure. The average adult foreskin is the size of this Bloodstained Men info card. It's a double fold of skin, so it folds in half and wraps around, and this is what covers the head of the penis in the intact male. The outer foreskin is basically an extension of the shaft skin. The inner foreskin is a mucous membrane, like the inside of your lip or the inside of your eyelid. And then in between these two skin layers, you have this dartos fasciae muscle tissue. It's the same muscle that's in the scrotum that responds to external temperature. It brings the testicles closer to the body. It works the same way with the foreskin and the head of the penis. It has that same function. And then you also have lots of blood vessels inside the foreskin. You have lots of nerve pathways that terminate in these Meissner's corpuscles, which are very fine touch nerve receptors like you have in your fingertips and your lips and in the clitoral hood. They also exist in the ridged band at the tip of the foreskin. And so this entire structure is destroyed when it's amputated, and then the head of the penis becomes an external organ, which it's not supposed to be. It should be warm and moist and protected all the time, like your eyeball or your tongue. But now it's exposed, and now it's rubbing up against the underwear, and it gets covered with this layer of keratin, which is like a callus. And so not only do you lose the sensitivity in the part of the penis that was amputated, but what remains is further desensitized. And so this also messes with the mechanics of intercourse, right? Because if you have no foreskin there, then every time the man comes out of his partner, the lubrication is caught behind the coronal ridge and drawn out into the air where it will dry out. But if the foreskin is there, then it will retract on the way in, and it will cover the head of the penis on the way out, and so the lubrication stays inside. So there's a huge market for artificial lubrication in American pharmacies. They don't have this problem in Europe and South America and Asia, where the men have penises that are working the way they were designed. Yeah, so spread the word. Yeah, they got me too. I would have preferred to keep my whole penis. They got me when I was too young to defend myself. I have a different card for you. This card has information about non-surgical painless foreskin restoration. It works by skin expansion. So if you've seen someone with a really huge earlobe, they put the gauge in, it gradually gets bigger. Skin tissue under constant gentle tension over long periods of time will gradually expand. So you can wear weight or tension devices on the remaining shaft skin, and it will.
Like it hurts, guys.
No, it's totally painless. It's constant gentle tension. It just feels like someone's gently pulling on the shaft skin, and so you can wear these over long periods of time. The remaining shaft skin will take the place of where the foreskin used to be, and so you can get back some of the functions that were destroyed by foreskin amputation. You get back the protective function and the mechanical functions. You don't get back the tissue that was amputated. So those nerve pathways have been severed forever. And so you don't have the feedback mechanisms that help with ejaculatory control, because the nerves in the foreskin are no longer speaking to the spinal cord and the brain. There's another problem that sometimes men experience where they immediately after orgasm, they want it to immediately stop moving because it's too painful for them to continue. And this is because the head of the penis is like your eyeball. It gets very irritated and is very painful. But the foreskin is like the lips. It contains a lot of the pleasure sensitivity nerves. And so those neurons in the ridged band at the tip of the foreskin will connect to inhibitory interneurons in the spinal cord that will turn off the painful sensation in the glands. And so the intact men usually have no trouble continuing an exciting sexual experience. And it's very disruptive for the women who are partners of the cut men in many cases, because they're enjoying this experience and then suddenly it stops. So that's another problem with cutting children's genitals, right? You shouldn't do that. You should let the man experience his whole body and let his future partners experience it.
So question for you.
Sure.
Would you actually do this whole stretching the skin thing?
I have a couple of restoration devices that I've gotten over the past few years, and I wear them occasionally, and I have made some progress. So I would definitely recommend that to people who want to improve the sexual function of their genitals. It also helps with insertion during intercourse, because the foreskin will hug the walls of the vagina, and so you have this part of the foreskin which is touching part of the vagina, and then the head of the penis will just sort of slip right in. Whereas if the foreskin is not there, then you have a lot of friction. You have to push in. You need maybe some artificial lubrication. So it's just very destructive for natural sexual function to cut off this part of the penis. It's a terrible thing to do to a child.
Thank you.
Spread the word.